If you're an AE watching this, you might think this course is largely about building net new pipeline, but that's not the complete picture. Social selling is going to not only help you book new meetings, but also accelerate sales cycles. So if you think about it, once you have a first meeting with a potential prospect, there are two things that need to happen. One is you need to secure next steps and you're going to meet them again at some point in the future. Lots of risk here. They might ghost you on that second meeting. They might not do the things that they promised to do. There's just lots of things that can go wrong. And so what social selling does for you, or just posting on LinkedIn and making sure that they are connected with you, is it makes sure that you stay top of mind. So you can continue essentially selling them passively and nurturing them between meetings. And so this improves your show rate to subsequent calls and makes it easier for them to also think about the problem and kind of marinate on it beyond that initial half-hour call that you've had. So if you're sharing customer stories and case studies and demos and all that kind of stuff in between, they will see that, and it just makes it easier for them to get excited. And so would highly encourage you, as soon as you get a meeting on your calendar, to go and connect with that person and continue posting, look for opportunities to comment on their posts, just continue engaging during the sales cycle. So for example, I think Neil Goyle at Disco was telling me that if he sources a deal from LinkedIn where he has a big presence, or if he nurtures a deal and he's connecting with them on LinkedIn, he saw his close double actually. And so that could also be you. I've seen that in practice for myself as well, where stalled deals would suddenly come back alive because they saw me post something. They'll be like, hey, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I know we didn't talk about that really on the last call, but I want to actually talk now, as opposed to the hold that they were going to no-show to, which was scheduled a month out. So that's number one, just making sure that your champion or your prospect keeps thinking about you and you continue the sale post that initial call passively. The second thing I would think about with social selling, or the way it helps you close deals, is by multi-threading. And so for any sort of complex deal, you're not going to just have a single champion. You're probably going to have other stakeholders. There's going to be one or more decision makers. There's going to be other people involved in the sale. And so you haven't necessarily met them, and you're kind of counting on your champion to introduce you to them, to bring them into the conversation at the right time, et cetera, et cetera. And so what you can do is, once you discover the other stakeholders from that first or second call, and you create an account map of all of the people who need to be involved in order for this deal to progress, you should go and connect with all of the individual stakeholders. This is the one exception to sending a blank connection request. Because you've already talked to someone on their team, I would drop a note like, hey, talk to John on your team about problem, phrase it in a way that speaks to that exact priority, or however they would think about it, use their language. Just wanted to stay in touch as we continue to talk about this and see if it's a fit. Something along those lines. Just send that over to all of the stakeholders. And so now what's going to happen is, not only are you nurturing the champion, but you're also getting visibility with the other decision makers as well. So let's say you send out 5 connection requests to the rest of the buy-in committee. 3 of them accept those, and now they're starting to see your post. They're starting to get familiar with you. It makes it way easier for the internal conversation that the champion is going to have with their boss, with their buyer, when they take the business case to them, to say like, hey, this is what I want to buy this thing for XYZ reason. Now the decision maker is like, oh yeah, like I think the AE from there connected with me. I've been seeing their stuff. I'm somewhat familiar with what they do. Greatly increases your odds of actually success. And that's how it's going to improve your win rate. 2 ways: nurture the champion. 2, connect with the buy-in committee, nurture the buy-in committee.